Wow. Hello, guys. Yes, welcome to everybody. Welcome back to POPcast. I'm sure it's been a bit of a break because we had Pop Radio last week and the week before we didn't have an episode.
By the way,
but we're here.
How do you feel about Pop Radio, guys?
We did it.
Yeah. I'm fucking impressed about what we are doing as a collective. I'm fucking impressed at the strides we are making for content creation on a South African level. So I was just gonna say that it's very hard in Mzansi to find pride in something that you're doing sometimes. But Madjozi that are coming from this area, there's people coming from this area, and of course we've got hopes and dreams of growing, but just in terms of feeding the people with what the culture needs and being proactive and not always waiting for things to be done for us.
It's crazy. You mentioned something to me this morning when you walked in here, and you were saying that you woke up on December the 4th, Jay-Z's birthday. And what was the first message that you saw?
So I wake up today, I was telling Vijay outside, and I was really feeling kind of like, fuck, man, like I'm tired. I'd like to just not move. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to have any more appointments. It's just been like a rough year. So I wake up 4th of December, Jay's birthday, and the first message on Instagram says that Jay-Z's quote is saying that the most genius thing we ever did was to not quit. And that really I was like, fuck, maybe I was supposed to see that. And it really changed my mood, totally. Coming to work, coming to do this. Because honestly, you guys show very little appreciation for what people do out there. And sometimes even the people that know they are doing a good job kind of doubt themselves, kind of question themselves, or kind of feel low about themselves. Because our community is not one that shows appreciation that much until other things happen. And our community is a community that loves money. Once you have the money...
That's when you've made it.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily about money, but it's for how you are changing the game and the landscape and saying, yo, we're actually putting in your time, which is money. At the end of the day, it is value, right? There's people who sit there and edit, there's cameras being bought, there's mics being bought, and not obviously your time,
Yeah.
And Miss Posma, you make up,
I mean, come on.
It's one of those things that whenever I see the backlash, I'll always comment. I always feel like I want to comment because you don't know the shit we go through.
Yeah.
So for you to be a critic and talk out your ass, and sitting on your mama's couch and say like, you're useless, you're doing A, B, and C. Nigga, get your life straight and do shit and come back.
As you know, especially after a week of being a target on Twitter.
Yo, talk about that.
We'll get into that in a moment. But I just wanted to embellish on your thing about getting a sign, about you needing to have seen something for you to continue. Driving here, I also got a sign. Where I saw a billboard. And obviously I'm thinking about all the tweets I was getting about Nangtu, whatever, Nangtu, that's fine, life goes on. But that billboard literally said, Impilo iyaqhubeka, just ensure your family's taken care of. And I said, that's all that matters.
Are you happy, right?
And that's all that matters. And what matters is that we're out here in Tembisa. We're at Hangout, the Hangout owned by DJ Shimza. Thank you so much to Shimza for allowing us to shoot here this morning.
Yep.
This place is beautiful. It's amazing. I love how he's decorated. It looks like a really awesome venue that could be in the north, as you know what they normally say.
Yeah.
But he's brought it back to the hood. He's brought it back to his hometown, and he's trying to make sure that Tembisa still gets a bit of shine, a bit of glitz and glam, a bit of nice time, lifetime.
And you don't have to leave.
You don't have to leave the hood.
Driving here for me was 41 minutes, dog. Yeah. When I put it on the GPS, I'm like, oh my, 41 minutes. The first person to take me here was Stilo. It wasn't looking as renovated as it is right now. And then second time I was in Tembisa, I was checking out my Clara Doughboy. KG was here. Yeah. And then when I saw the code 1632 on the Season Scoop show, there used to be so many niggas from 1632. And now for you guys to travel so far distances just to rap for an hour, not knowing that you might go in or not. And you guys still did it.
And they didn't have cars. They had to hustle.
Dog.
Yo, what did Tembisa say on the Pop Radio about hip-hop? Where does it...
In the East, right? Is it 1633 in the East?
1632.
I showcase in front.
So shout out to Tembisa. You've got a big love for hip-hop. You've got a big hustle for hip-hop. Shout out to Shimza for always coming back home and making sure that Tembisa shines as much as it does. And of course, come through and check out the Hangouts. It's a beautiful venue and the food is amazing.
On a Tembisa tip, I just wanted to say, yo, it's tough driving into hoods, you know?
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, sometimes you just fucking feel like we should congratulate ourselves more for making it out of the obstacles that we've come from. We've got so many high expectations for ourselves and we don't pat ourselves on the back enough. We're just making it out of the places that we made it from, Smiley, with all the limitations that were set. And it's the same thing all over SA. You think Soweto's just like that, then you go to PE, and then you come here, and you're like, fuck, like, I don't understand how we did it, dog.
So my thing is always this, that I always appreciate when I drive back to the hood because I always seem like, especially with music, that's where I connect more with music because this is what the people are listening to.
Straight up.
And that's where I pick up like, okay, this is the new vibe or this is the lingo, you know? And especially, I think as an artist, you probably have to be in the hood most of the time for you to kind of resonate and relate to people because you need to speak the language, you need to talk the talk.
Brenda wasn't hanging out in the north that much.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, you know?
Lebo wasn't hanging out in the north that much.
Nope.
But you know, talking about artists, talking about music, there was a lot of music drops that happened this past 2 weeks.
Sure.
So I think we need to get straight into Msebenzi too. And get into the music and get into the vibes. All right, so I'm going to kick off, obviously, with the drops that came out the week before, this past Friday.
Yeah.
It was a big Friday that actually happened. Yanga Chief dropped Popstar.
Yep.
Gemini Major dropped Slum Kid. Moozlie dropped her single, La La La. Caution to the Wind, the LES. Come on with it.
I love that title.
Who else dropped that week? Flvme dropped, Dead or Alive.
So?
Madjozi dropped What Alive. Who else had dropped that week? We spoke about Zinga, didn't we?
Yeah.
Stations at the Crib.
Yeah.
That also came through.
I actually like the whole rollout that he did. I think he did a live listening sessions at
a house.
Yeah. Which is dope, you know?
Yeah, I thought that was very creative as well.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about the music? Obviously, those that I've forgotten, I'm going to try and double check. But for now, the ones I've mentioned.
I'm in the Zinga one, you know, definitely because even I think the whole rollout led me there as well, you know?
Yeah.
The whole content that he created, which is dope, you know? And also just seeing the imagery as well. So I'm into the Yanga and also Big Star. Also dropped something as well.
Yeah. Big Star dropped the single.
Yeah. It's called Yeah. And Big Star, man, I love Big Star's energy. And
Big Star's got amazing energy.
It's one of those things where he's doing himself and he's doing South African music and he's saying, this is me and this is how I can do it for myself.
Yeah, I enjoyed that Big Star as well. I had interviewed Big Star on my radio show as well with regards to the new single. And talking to him about why he took a 2-year break. Because 2 years is a long time to be out the game, bro.
No, it's not really a long time, you know. And as someone mentioned on the podcast that you get forgotten for not releasing music. No, and this is the debate I always have. Guys, I prefer quality over quantity. The more you put out, it's up to you, actually. If you've got more content to put out, put it out, you know. But if you're actually taking 2 years to deliver something that's solid, it's with a long wait, you know?
Yeah.
And it goes back to, I think it was Uspista, I remember, when with the A-Reese. And I'm like, yo, let him take his time.
Yeah.
By the time we get the product, it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. It's like how I appreciate Kendrick. When the Kendrick product comes, I know I'm going to be
waiting, my brother.
Glued onto it because it's taken that long. I want to see what he's done conceptually.
Yeah.
And I'm going to appreciate it more because it's probably 2 years of detail.
Yeah, it's 2 years of detail, but also he was experiencing life. He became a father.
That's true.
He was dealing with a lot with family stuff as well. He was also trying to get in and out of his contracts with regards to labels. So I think for him, he was also just growing as a person. And growing as a person was obviously then going to affect his music and the stories he puts in his music. So shout out to Big Star. I think that the project is going to be dropping in January. So I'm quite keen to hear the full body of work. Obviously, this is just the one single that dropped now.
I love that single. And I had a conversation with Big Star, I think 2 years back when I saw him in Swaziland. We were staying at the same place. And he was telling me that story of him just going through life. And a lot of kids aspire to become inside the game. Then they get inside the game, and then the game is not what it looks like from the outside.
Definitely.
And a lot of them never make it out of that readjustment, you know? And I think he, like you said, he was going through life and he was readjusting himself and how to enter the space again and not create a persona that he couldn't keep up not rap, things that were very distant from him. When I listened to that single, I was like, shit, this thing is hot. He knows how to make good music. He knows how to write good songs that can just stick within you. I'm also interested to hear the project. And I do feel like people, whack people have such a big ego, and whack people have such a great way of pushing themselves. I think if dope people could take a percentage of the moya and spirit that some of our whack counterparts have in the game, because yes, there are some whack counterparts in the game, but they are great marketers and they are great pushers of their vibes. So I would love to see artists like a Big Star to be like, okay, when I don't want to hear or see or feel your insecurity when I hear and see you. Yeah. I want you to know and tell me and show me that I'm sleeping on you, that I'm the one that needs to wake up. And sometimes with some artists, especially the dope ones, maybe it's money, maybe it's car, maybe it's friends, maybe it's whatever. They're not in the right spots. Graham doesn't know. They kind of like hold back and not realize that the one thing you got in this motherfucking shit is your story.
Yeah.
Once you try and make your story to be someone else's story, you've lost the battle.
You've forgotten. It's crazy to say that because I know I was chatting with a friend of mine, the Cobbs, and with a couple of people, and what he said is like, it feels like being talented in this day and age is just on deaf ears, right? It's like if you are talented and you've got the quality, it's nothing. But more if you've got hype, and obviously I'm not going to mention this person responded and said, "Yeah, Chief, if you are whack and you are riding the trend, you'll make money and you are popular." And it just got to me, and they're like, "Yeah, it's because they work hard." That's what he said. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I guess it is the brand value, and I guess it is the working hard." So it does show that you can be talented at the end of the day, but you do need a team behind you, And as much as the whack shit, and I always say whack shit only lasts for a few, it's diluted. For me, it's diluted. Next year, this time, your whack shit we won't be talking about because it's not quality. But the stuff that's quality in the longer range, it will be speak because it's evergreen. Yeah. That's the term, right? It's evergreen. And for me, it's like now, for those artists, they probably do need the whole team to say, cool, this is how the rollout is probably going to be situated, And this day and age, yes, money is a factor, but I don't really think you need money. I think it's just creativity.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. I just think at the end of the day, we understand that dope artists will always be purists. And I think purists expect the work to speak for them as opposed to them going out and doing the work.
Yeah. I think it's one of those projects from what you told me now, I'm going to relate to a Big Star project.
We'll wait till it comes out.
Yeah.
I don't want to come
No, but like what you guys have told me is one of those things like now I have to hear.
Yeah.
Because obviously with situations that we all go through family problems. Yeah. We all go through financial problems. You all go through being a father. If it's a first-time father, how it is like for him.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Why it's important to know your story is then I think South African artists also don't spend time nurturing, pruning, and really growing their fan base. People try and come in and want a hip-hop fan base. And they tend to feel like they are plucking at other fan bases. I don't see South African artists really doing things to grow a fan base yabo. Meaning that if I'm a big star, even if I don't have 20,000 people, if I know that I've got 10, I'm going to service that 10. That's the one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is our fans and the music lovers. We cannot tell people what they gotta like. Because they want the cars. They want the girls scantily dressed. They want the money. They want the shampura. As an artist, you must decide who of this population are you feeding? You cannot feed everybody. And everybody is not going to like you.
No, that's true.
You've got to have your story straight. Again, your story is important. To know that I'm coming in here, I am this kind of person, these are my ideals, and I will service this market. and then grow from there. I think identity, really people, and you talked about a team, and you're right, but that team can't move if you don't know yourself. Yeah, well, they're going to have to build so many things that are foreign to you, but you as an artist need to go in with an outline drawing of area. I want to perform in these places. It's really time to not just use these social media sites and the Facebooks and technology just to put out. It's really time for us to draw out and sift out information that can help us as artists, even us as platforms. And you talked about real life. Koli China is another example of that, who is adamantly voicing out his journey and how questioning yourself, doubting yourself, and he's come back full circle and saying, no, man,
Les dropped. Caution to the Wind. How are you feeling about it?
I'll let you guys start.
I haven't listened to it yet.
You haven't listened to it at all?
There's so much shit that's been dropped, like music, like between sorting out life, because we also have lives and we also have things to like do. It's been hard to just ingest everything all at once.
I listened to Caution to the Wind. I'm really enjoying the vibe. The one thing that I've always loved about Liz is he knows how to portray himself in true Les fashion when you listen to his music, because he gives you
that like hanging out with him.
Yes, it's like you're chilling with him, but you're not chilling with him because you listen to his music and you're just having a good time. He's a feel-good artist.
Yeah.
That's always been Les's MO, and I love that.
There's growth in it?
I do think I can hear some growth with regards to from this project and the one before, not North God, the one that came out after North God.
Mandela Money.
High level, yes, high level. Thank you so much. So Caution to the Wind, high level. I feel Caution to the Wind was a better project, and I can see he's taken his time. Okay. I felt High Level was a little rushed at the time that he had dropped it. It's not to say that it was a horrible project. It's just, I just think Caution to the Wind is much better, and I can hear the growth from there. Okay. Yeah. So
now this comes back with the amount of years you spend in and you put into a project, because just releasing an album is not, as much as it can be done, but it's, you have to think.
Yes.
Okay. You know?
Yes, definitely.
I know that I've been bumping the Zakwe and Duncan project.
Yeah. That feature with KO?
Yeah, and it's nice to hear like from a different side, especially from the intro where it's side A, well, side D and side Z. So the side D is Duncan's story, introduction into the game. Then the second track is side Z or Z, whatever you want to call it, right? Nice. Is introduction of Zakwe to the game, you know? And having the KO feature there was dope. It's unexpected, you know? And also that guys are still delivering bars, you know? I'm happy that...
Those two niggas stay.
No, definitely.
They stay delivering bars. I think the choruses are also like 16.
You know, and then you just flip over and I hear the Boity as well, and it's just bars on galore, you know? I'm just, you know how I feel about bars. Me, I'm a bars nigga. I love my bar kind of hip-hop, you know? The melodic shit...
So let's get into that. Boity dropped her EP, 4436. I think it's also been long awaited because when Boity first came into the scene, everybody was very doubtful, to where we are today, where everybody is very supportive. And again, with new information, you're allowed to change your mind. But nonetheless, Boity has officially dropped her project. And of course, she's coming through hard. Hey, you're too Boity, wow. But I guess that's what hip-hop is. That's what rap is. And I love how hard she comes in. I love how she's not trying to be... Because, you know, sometimes on social media, you might look like a dainty person when you're wearing a bikini or you're wearing like a couture dress, or maybe you're wearing like... But but the thing is, some people wouldn't know her on a personal level. They'll just know her from pictures or they'll know her from what she tweets. But now you actually get to see her personality come out in the music, because then you're like, shit, actually Boity does speak. She's really from Poch, because you can hear the Poch coming out in the music. You can hear some of the words that she uses are utterances from literally like how she speaks on a daily basis, which is not something you would catch from social media. So that's what I'm enjoying watching and listening to from Boity, because I'm getting to hear a personal side from her, you know?
I think the attitude is what I pick up from social media, because whenever I see a Boity tweet, and especially her being vocal about certain things, you know? So now listening to this project, you kind of get it. But not delivering away from Boity. My Clara dope boy. right?
The feature,
right, on the 018's Finest. And I like how Ginger also comes through and it's the whole Poch gang. And it kind of shows a new wave that maybe Mutako now has moved from the Mafikeng side towards the Poch. Like it's growing, you know, and it's always important for genres to have a sub-genre to grow within, you know? So it's one of those things which is dope. And also Maglera, sorry guys, on the Yanga joint, right?
Yeah.
Like you just hear, you're like, this kid can rap. The delivery, it's different, it's unexpected. And it's just like, yo, 2021 for that kid.
Definitely got next.
I listened to the Boity, 9 full bullets of it, and I was thoroughly impressed. And what impresses me, because I have known her on a personal level, and if you've seen and you've partied with Boity, even when you've listened to her like rap lyrics in a car, like I've just never seen a female who knew lyrics verbatim of other rappers, be it American rappers or SA rappers. And I mentioned that because I know personally that for me, when I do it, people always say you should rap. And I never want to rap. But with her, she's taken that leap. And there are a lot of things that you learn from reciting. There are a lot of things you learn that cannot be picked up, even if someone is an artist. There are a lot of involuntary lessons that are learned by being able to rap a Lil Wayne track, being able to rap a Drake track, being able to rap a Kendrick track, a J. Cole track. There are little nuances you pick up that you don't get in a book, that you don't get from maybe someone in a studio. And it might not be something that's studied and can be verified, like a blue tick on Insta, but that shit has helped her.
Yeah.
And I am so impressed at hearing someone who has writing help sound like that is her pen, 100%. So yeah, executive producers of the album want to give props to PH, who's been really working hard and is a great instrument in the studio, on the boards, and I think he's really done well to allow certain artists to find their voices. Reason, the pen, and the executive production credit as well. Like, he's done so much for this woman and the way she's coming across. It's almost like his pen is tailor-fitted for her, as much as he might write for other people. But what he's doing with her is just incredible. And I can almost imagine what it feels like for him when he's not the artist that people want to hear or see, but your pen can still do what it does and earn some money in the meantime and in the interim, even though you're not the superstar act that's in front of these lyrics that you're penning. So I'm really impressed with the Boity album.
Yeah. I also just want to give shout outs and love to Bash as well. Bash is very instrumental with regards to putting the project together, and he's got a specific ear that I don't think a lot of people have. And he's been very instrumental with some of the artists that he's worked with as well, from the likes of Casper to Nadia Nakai, Tsecho, and now he's doing that with Boity. He knows the little things that kind of need to go into a song. Even with the single that I released with Boity, Booty, he would obviously then say, okay, do this a little bit more, make this a little bit more ratchet, because he understands those little elements that can just make something pop way more than it would if you had just left it as is.
No doubt.
That's the producer.
So he's not, what would I say? He's not like
He's a producer.
he's not a writer.
Beatmaker.
Yeah.
Beat maker.
But he's producing amazingly. And I think for him, we do have to give him a shine. We need to give him his flowers because he puts in a lot of work. And mind you, he's wholeheartedly literally like Boity's team. From road management to DJ to bookings to producing, A&R, he's everything. One-man band. So shout out Splash Vision, man. You're doing the things.
I think you did a great job by mentioning his name because I had totally forgotten about it. Again, that thing of not speaking and not fighting for your props or not wanting to be seen, which works well for him. But a lot of artists in this country that reach monumentous heights tend to neglect to mention the people that were instrumental in them getting there because maybe they don't want someone else to work with that person and so on and so forth. But I love the fact that you mentioned him. I don't recognize him enough because he doesn't speak enough. But I definitely see with the history that you have pointed out of where he's been, and I can see what happened to those artists. Bash, you are definitely an ear and an eye, and you have a feel for this thing. I think a lot of people just are missing the feel. And you definitely have shown us through your history and your present that to keep doing what you're doing. That album is fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
Ganja Beats.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Ganja Beats. You guys did your thing as well. And you guys have been doing your thing for a while now. Casper, Malume, Ricky, Youngster, and now this project and a lot of other things that you're doing. Forgot to mention your names there, but I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Shout out Boity. All right, so Popstar also dropped. We had spoken and embellished on Yanga for so long that I think we also got like too much talk on Yanga, but the album's finally out. I did go to the listening session as well.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to kind of hear.
Invited.
Relax.
Hi. So Yanga Chief.
I get you work for the opposition.
So Yanga Chief.
Anyway.
If it was mine, it would have been a bit more better.
If it was,
it's okay.
Please don't listen to VG Yanga. So the project, I think, was really introspective. And I appreciated that people appreciated what Yanga was trying to do with the album. Because sometimes, you know, you might kind of pop off. Like, yes, Yanga's been like grinding for so long. But I think his pinnacle moment was with Tatako. So, you know, immediately when someone hears a trap song like that, they'll expect to say, okay, we're going full trap with the whole album. Yanga still said, but this is who I am. Me, I'm still the Afro-pop guy. Me, I'm still the bars guy. Me, I'm still the introspective guy. I'm still going to give that to you in my album. And I appreciated that the listeners knew that that's what he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to party the whole time. He wanted to, you know, relay a message. And every single song has a specific message. And it was so awesome because Yanga's very cinematic with everything that he does. Even at the listening session, it looked like an art gallery. So every single had like an art piece talking to the actual song and a different visual as well to each song and explaining what it's about. And it was really awesome to kind of hear that coming through. And you can now relate it when you listen to the album. So shout out to the team for also thinking that far.
I
and
think
not
the title speaks for itself, Popstar. And you go listen to the album. You know, I think you already know what to expect, that you're not expecting the radio, but he is a pop star eventually, and he's tapping into all masses of pop culture, you know? And shout out to Yanga, man. I think it's one of the most solid projects to drop this year.
Yeah.
I liked it as well. I really did. I was surprised. It's like, it was such a nice balance of what you know him for, what he wants to experiment with, and then the singing. Like the first half of the joint, the album was very hip-hoppy, very rappy. I've always never wanted to rap because I was not sure when would I say some things in English, when would I say some things in vernac. And Yanga has got a knack for knowing when to say things in English and vernac. You know what I'm saying? It's like Malume knows when to repeat certain phrases, know when to repeat certain words. These things you can't teach.
Yeah.
You have to feel them. I love that about the album. I also kind of noticed like Questa's bass voice has gotten into him as well. You know, he's dropped the decibel. He's got because Yanga's got different pitches.
Yeah.
When he sings, he's a different pitch. When he talks, he's a different pitch. But on the rappy part of the album, he went baritone a lot. I saw the cinematic part with the skits, loved it. And there's a track on the album that's called Manelo. Oploma Ekapelo. They chowing our tax money and niggas are living nice, buying clothes off our money. Sort of like referencing the political time, not political, but the time that we are living in where a lot of our political officials were getting investigated and things taken. I thought, damn, you know, to put that in there, it's kind of thick. Because you also know Yanga does know a couple of political people, you know, but he still put the song in there. I love that. And speaking to that song, on Instagram, Madjozi has a very dancey song, but she's talking about the Hawks going and repossessing the Ferraris and everything from the dudes. And she's made that into a clip where she's dancing with the girls, but the lyrics are like, yo, you talking about the shit that happened in our country. And
I'm glad you listen, Scoop.
What do you mean you glad I listen?
I know, like, I'm just happy. Like, you are educated. I'm like, that's it. Like, it's not sometimes about the beats and we must...
Oh, yeah, because some people don't listen to the lyrics.
And you are actually teaching people. They're like, yo, go listen.
I'm a listener, you know? Yeah. I really am a listener. And when it comes to what Cosmo was saying in terms of Yanga and how the fans were ready for what he was going to give. That's a testament to what I believe I was saying earlier to your audience. Yanga has never introduced himself anything other than what he is. Even if he was with a top-rated artist or an underground, you know Yanga's story. And all he did now was give you more on that story. So his fans are like, we know you when you go pop. We know you when you go culture. We know you when you go dancey. We know you when you go bad bads. Yeah. So all he has to do is just elevate and put onto those things. And when you said VG pop star, it's crazy because, yeah, it's almost like he's introducing what a pop star in South are, and I dare say Xhosa terms, would feel, look, and sound like.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Shout outs, man. Of course, there were other drops that also came out this past week outside of the Boity Focalistic. Oh, yes, Flvme. No, let's get to Flvme first before we go to Foca. Flvme, Dead or Alive. Ha! Ha ha! Yo! I know, Shem.
I like the fact that in a piano turbulent climate, some people are not wavering. Some people are going, yo, I love this shit and this is how I'm going to be. So, yo, man, the trap sound for me was really 2000 and a couple of years back. What Flvme did with that album, Dead or Alive, I stuck to every word. I stuck to every beat. He also went very cinematic with the skits. And fuck, man, I loved it. And I didn't listen to that one. Someone who's older than me, I think. So I always think people that wear tuck-ins and suits are older than me. You know, because they bigger sometimes than me as well. And you know niggas with the bald head, they just older than me. Once you wear a bald head, and then you got the cheeks, and then you got the tuck in, and then you got the young roll over the tuck. You're older than me. I don't care. So this one bro of mine was like, he picked me up and he was like, yo, dog, can you just listen? We were off to a meeting, and he was like, listen to this kid. And I'm like, who's this? And he played Flvme. From start to finish, I had to go put him on my Insta story on some well done kid. This is it. So I really love the Flvme album.
I also enjoyed it a lot. Man? I think for me as well, because I think also Flvme, obviously being with the Wrecking Crew and Reese and the boys first, and then kind of getting into his own and winning his awards and also still being able to kind of push the direction that he wants to do. Sometimes all of that stuff can kind of get to your head. And then you can hear it in the music because then you're just like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Flvme was like, nah, I'ma be me, forever be me. This is what you know me to be. You know what I mean? And I love that about Dead or Alive because he was literally saying, Dead or Alive, I'm going to be Flvme. And that's what stuck out for me. I really enjoyed the project. Shout outs.
Nice.
I think for me, it's one of those on my to-listen list. You know, I need to bump it. But obviously, I think looking at the features that being working with Keenan and the show Madjozi, you know, I'm interested to hear sonically where Flvme is going to go. You know, even just the writing, you know. It's one of those projects that I have to check.
He wrote really well on this one.
Okay, cool.
This one, he writes simple, but punchy shit.
Yeah.
And also, he's not afraid to say some shit, whether it be good or whether you'd look at him like, damn, because he does mention his girls. He does mention his girls' problems. He does mention the friends' problems. And you're like, damn. I always used to listen to Drake, Nabo, Kanye, and be like, which nigga would want to double cross y'all? Yeah. Which woman would want to double cross y'all? And it's crazy because you sit in SA now and you look around and be like, these niggas are saying the same things, you know? So I loved it, man. It was really, really dope.
So for me, it's smart to listen list. Yeah. Also, I saw Phantom Steers dropped. Also, EP Nyana.
I have to listen to it.
I haven't checked that out yet, but I'll
I have to. So I'm expecting trap on a Pantula level.
I have to listen to
it. Then there's also Cash. Is it Cash CPT Cash?
Yes, Cash CPT. Yeah, dropped a track with J Marley as well.
Yeah. He's also dropped like a project.
Whoa.
Yeah.
M.A. Dub?
M.A. Dub on the features.
No, not the features.
I haven't heard
He dropped a song with Stogie T.
I haven't heard the song.
Fair too.
I just heard him on the Boity feature.
He dropped a single this past week. It's featuring Stogie T and PH Raw X, if I'm not mistaken.
Again, Raw is coming in.
Yo!
Mugs.
I know, Shem. We really needed him to come back with the fire. And this song, I think, it's called The Man. Go and check it out. And I think for me, it's what we wanted out of Mugs when we were like, Mugs, come back. Do you know what I mean? And I think now he's like, okay, let me try this again.
No?
And I was like, okay, I'm back in the game. Hot song, really enjoying it, really loving the fact that he's also trying to get out a lot more. I saw him in Soweto some weeks back and he was out there. It's nice to see him engaging a lot more because I hadn't seen him in a long time.
To reiterate the words of one female who went viral on social media, Ilwa! Ilwa! That's all I can say for you artists. Fight! I don't give a fuck how long it takes. 40 days and 40 nights, just fight!
Please go and check out that MA dub. I'm so happy about it because, I think everybody's just like, Mugs, man, come on, we wanted more.
And he rapping.
He rapped on the song. No, he came through with it. So shout outs. But yeah, man, the music has been awesome.
9-track EP.
I need to check out the EP.
Which one doing?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying him filtering through his knowledge to new artists. Isambulo was a project that he released with all the artists that he signed to 1020 Cartel. I like that he's not featured on the songs because usually that becomes a thing. Like, okay, so you're signed to me, so I must be on all of your songs. No, the co-sign is purely just listen to the music, and the music spoke for itself. So I like the direction they're taking with 1020 Cartel, and the artists that they're trying to hone, they are really, really talented. And I think with time, we're going to start appreciating them as well,
I've been bumping something different. Crazy, but I saw it on the charts, right? It's Kuzani. He spoke Esingafi. He spoke Esingafi.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's crazy.
That's the comedian nigga you showed me.
No. Ukuzani is a Maskandi artist, right? And I was listening, I was like, yo, these guys don't get played on radio, number one. He was like charting at number 10. He's been charting at number 10 for the past 2 weeks. They don't get played as much as urban popular culture artists get played on radio. You don't wake up and go onto your MTVs and see his music video playing. You don't wake up and see on social network that he is trending, but he is holding his own. For me, it made me appreciate that, hey guys, the music is actually getting to the people out there and things are starting to explore more, because I've always thought that market is probably a physical market. But now to see him going ahead with all of the youngers of this world and still holding us all at number 10, it shows that, this guy has a market.
Yeah.
If this guy had all the tools that you guys have, I
remember that I wanted to speak on Faith K.
Yeah.
She also released something, couple of tracks, maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's called Cloud. Yeah, with a K.
And
I love the artwork.
The artwork is amazing. Yeah. Like, there is that lane of what Faith K is doing that I know it's going to get bigger, but hasn't been explored yet. So she's like a cross between a Rolene and a Rihanna.
Okay.
And I'm trying, she's Rolene with the vocals. She's very Rihanna Weekend with the content. She swears, which I love because I feel like fucking swearing makes you relieve a little bit of fucking stress every fucking time. So I like how rough she is, but she clouds it with this soprano, tenor, beautiful voice. But the shit she's saying is almost like what a guy would say.
Yeah.
Bryson Tiller-ish, She's not afraid to be very risque with her content and her lyrics. She's not rapping, she's singing, but it kind of comes off like rap. I do think she's gonna grow. There's the track with Champ, the track with PH Raw, again, it's called Champ. Then another one after that with Reason.
Yeah.
And the last one with Nadia called Neff. Beautiful shit. And I do think you have something. I just feel like you need to grow it more. And a lot of you guys are sleeping on visuals. And a lot of you guys think visuals take a lot of money. You can shoot shit with your phone these days. We are in a visual era. Start not just releasing your songs, but having the visuals to accompany them, please, because a lot of things get said with visuals that can't get said with your music.
That's so true. I've also actually felt that sometimes a music video kind of takes a song to the next level because then you get to kind of hear and see the message a lot more clearer. But I feel you with regards to Faith K, definitely growing from where she was before with her first album to where she is now with Cloud. And I think there's still a lot more room for growth, but it's going in a positive direction. So I like the music. And shout out to Warner also for investing in her because you can see the amount of work that's being put into her and It's all coming out as like a full package. Right? And a full package.
Warner Brother, when you started talking about Warner Brother, babe, because I'm out here with Universal.
Anyway.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys mentioned visuals, you know, and this past week has been a dope thing for visuals where the first video I'm going to highlight is Sakasi, which is Casper and Jabu. So Casper dropped the video for Noctula.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
The visuals are clean.
Yeah.
Very.
Like, it's very clean. And I also how, like, the styling of the video. Like, the dancing, you know, and also at the same time, I like how it's the new generation that's within the video. When I looked at the video, I'm seeing all these young acts, and then I'm like, shit, guys, you know what? We're in a new era now.
Yeah.
Straight up.
New people, you know?
Straight up.
And also there's a comedian from Botswana called William Lars KRM. I think the song's called Tinto. I think that's probably the best music video I've seen this year, for me personally.
Yeah.
You made me watch that today. That
video
crazy.
Directed by director Mo. It's crazy. Visual, the sound as well. Like,
is he an artist or comedian?
I think it's a comedian. But he...
Mina la eMzansi ikuseStates manje. Senza yonke into. Actor ngiyasinga, dancer ngiyacomedia, senza yonke into.
You know? And I think Big Zulu also dropped as well. Big Zulu dropped on the first. Right? Yeah, Big Zulu dropped on the first. And the video is probably selling on almost 800,000 views so quickly. And here's the thing, guys, right? This is where now I'm going to come back to, I think I did put a tweet, like someone asked me who's my number one MC for 2020, hottest MCs. And I was like, Big Zulu for me. And watching those numbers in 5 days, what he's doing. And I was like, yo, there's a force to be reckoned with there that you guys don't realize, but you guys will pick it up later. You know, and especially also, I love how
Ricky's loving Big Zulu's vibe.
Makado.
Yeah.
I commented that you know, and say my you know, and I'm just like, you know, it's just so dope to see Big Zulu and to see just like us being so proudly ourselves, you know, even with the William KRK, with the whole Dickies vibe, the way
even the Ungas video also very South A.
I'm just happy and I'm just like, guys, well done for being South A and represented to the fullest.
It's crazy, like with that video you showed me and everything else we've talked about, Big Zulu, like when you see us being depicted in the artistic way that a Beyonce would put us with their whatever,
Black is King,
whatever. Now you're seeing it here, and it's been happening before with Tebuko, but it's more prevalent now with many more tones coming out. You're like, City Laba, you know? Them niggas, like for me, also them niggas that dance on the side of the street. I'm shunned that I haven't seen them so many times in videos.
Yeah.
But
those guys,
they perform, Kuli used to take
those niggas are amazing.
Where Kuli went on stage, and I'm just like, I always feel proud, you know? I drove with my son the other day, and it's like, what is that? I'm like, Donaka, Kimapantola. You see, this is one culture musically that you probably have to know what Amapantola is and who and what they represent, because, you know, we do feed off of that. Just like Kwaito music, you know, the hip-hop that we lay, you know, the pianos that been there, it coming off from those culture, you know, and something that we have to fully embrace. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm a crazy Jay.
Yeah, those niggas needed to be in videos like hella all the time. The football boys, the gymnastic boys,
all of them.
All of them.
And we also saw those visuals also coming through with the Spirit video. I think that's where
that's when we like, yo, this is us.
This is it.
You know?
This is it. All right, so you spoke about who you would have wanted as your number one for the hottest MC.
Well, who I, personally for me.
Did you check out the list, Scoopy? I'll send that again social, ne?
No, I can't. You know, Cozzy, you have to protect your peace, and you have to protect your drive and your vision. And yes, there are instances where you pick up and hear and want to embrace what people are saying and work on it. But I just think in the climate that we are living in, hey man, andizokwazi ukugcina le ndlela ndihambayo ukuba ndibhizi namahem all over the show.
Focus on yourself.
You understand? So I just this time, this frequency of our social media element, I really want to take a break from it a bit.
Yeah, kunin bangtuga.
And you should expect that.
Martin, you should expect it, Donnie. I think it's one of those things what people don't realize. I'm sure you guys shot the thing very late.
No, we shot it long ago. We shot that thing maybe like...
It's shot in a rush.
Yeah.
Firstly, it's shot in a rush. Yeah. Secondly, it was shot maybe about over a month and a half ago. So by the time it drops, there's so much that's happened in that timeline that it's like, oh, well, it's not like we could go back and record because it's already done. You know what I mean? First and foremost, I was the host of the show.
So what does the host do? Maybe explain, Nonny, because as you were saying, Gucci, there are like...
you need to explain. Some people don't know.
Like, this is what a host does.
The mediator.
And I've got Scoop to back me up because he's done it before.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because everyone thinks I'm lying and I'm making excuses. But anyway, so firstly, if they had requested me to be a panel member, I would have said no, if I must be honest. And I've said this to them as well. Because I feel like I've done it enough times, arguing and fighting and being involved in social media rants or making the wrong decisions. So I only agreed to host because this is a different perspective of the hottest MCs. Hosting and being on a panel, two different things. Panel, you're making a decision, you're placing your opinion, you're also resubmitting a list. As a host, I'm literally, hi guys, welcome to the show. These are my guests. Welcome. Okay, let's discuss. I am not placing my opinion on the list. I didn't submit a list. So how it works with the panel before you shoot submits what their top 10 would be for the year. Everybody else does that. I didn't submit a list, one. With that list, it's then collated into what we then present as the top 10. And then they still have to then argue it. Again, I didn't submit a list, so I can't argue on something I didn't submit. And then all I have to do is literally make sure that everybody kind of stays on track with going from number 10 to number 1. Am I correct?
1000%.
So that's exactly what my job was. I didn't place an opinion. I didn't, even when you watch the show, not at any point did I raise a fact. Did I ever say, this person did this person did that person must be moved, this person... All I did was, let's check the numbers. Are you happy with number 10? Sharp. Are you happy with number 9? Sharp. Are you happy with number 3? Sharp. That's all my job was supposed to be.
Here's my thing, right? And I catched it on Friday because someone's like, yo, catch this thing on the call, right? And I was like, I just felt so disconnected in a way where I'm like, okay, number one, I think it's time that MTV does things that will evolve, right? So evolve them and also evolve the game. So we've got a whole year of 2020 and we've heard Corona that I'm sure we don't remember what happened in March and February right now. Do you understand? So for me, it's one of those things that they needed to create something that will always remind us and entice us and bring us to this moment where we're like, okay, guys, now we know and we see it factually. And also, some things are made for TV. I hear it, they're made for TV. But at the same time, it's just like, the criteria, did it actually become valid?
The criteria, I admit, wasn't stuck to this year.
So then,
and there were moments when I'd be like, okay, but what about? And people were literally going in their own directions.
So now, for me, number one, if you are a panel, was that panel credible?
What
because
do you mean?
Now I'm just saying, because if you are supposed to be a panel person, you are supposed to go do your research according to the criteria and break it down, right? And if I'm gonna fight for a Foka, I need to know my facts where I'm fighting for Foka. If I'm fighting for Big Zulu, I need to know, good, oh shit, there's 1, 2, 3, damn, you know what? This person has ticked 4 boxes out of this person has ticked 3. So obviously the 4 will win, not just based by hype and popularity. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things, just looking overall, I was like, you know what? Maybe the show probably needs to evolve, you know, into another level where, they need to start doing it from the top of the year to kind of remind people what Hottest MCs is.
Yeah.
You know? And also, credibility. You need to be credible as a panelist to be like, okay, I'm born, you know? And I'll give credit as much as someone like a Nota, you know, and he probably gets backlash or whatever, but I'll give Nota his props. He does do his research.
You know what?
He does do his research.
You know what? On that specific day, you know we engage Nota all the time, and he's probably watching this anyway. We engage Nota all the time, and on a personal level, I can talk to him, just me and him. His problem is that he also gets excited when people start paying attention to him. And that's when he takes things too far. You know? And that's when he takes things too far. So for me, a platform like Hottest MCs was a position for him to then say, okay, here's my moment for me to be outlandish. Yes, he states facts. sometimes those facts are embellished because he takes advantage of people not knowing better than him. And that's exactly what happened on the show.
So now do you think he was more powerful than the other panelists?
Yes, because he's the one who brought Busiswa onto the table. No one else did.
So that means the panelist was weak. The panel was weak.
Because if it wasn't for Nota bringing up Busiswa as a topical issue and defending her for her credibility to be on the list, she wouldn't be there in the first place. Do you understand? And again, the list was submitted by the panel members. On the actual list that was presented, there was only one female who was there initially. And then the panel didn't fight for her to stay on there. All I did was ask a question. I said, are you guys happy with Nadia? Do you guys want to swap her out? Everyone just sat there and they said, if no one's going to argue, what's my job? I must continue.
So
they are supposed to then say, yes, who else is making the decision?
Blame the panel.
I'm not taking that.
Blame the panel.
Blame the panel because they were the ones who... Firstly, they're allowed to be bullied to allow Busiswa to be on the list. That's the first problem. Secondly, okay, you've considered Busiswa to be on the list. Now you're saying Nadia must be replaced by Busiswa. I asked the question. They're supposed to argue with me to then say, hi, why must she be on the list? Keep Nadia on there. Nobody fought me. But everyone's saying I'm the one who asked for Nadia to be replaced. How? Why would I ask for her to be replaced?
I just don't want people to feel from the list that they have to forsake their love of wanting to be a hip-hop artist.
No.
What do you mean?
I believe Folk is a tremendous artist. I do believe he ventured into hip-hop with his EP. I do believe then he saw that this is going to be a tough road for me. Let me change and do something different that has my hip-hop roots, but is entirely something different, speaking to another crowd. And that's what made him pop. We'll see. So I believe he's an incredible artist.
Yeah.
With these people then coming in and holding such numbers on the list, young kids might then feel like, I don't have to want to. They might feel like it's wrong for them to love hip-hop the way they do and aspire to be a South African hip-hop artist. Because now their love for this art form that might be foreign to them, that they are good at, won't be recognized if it's not seen in the light of other people. And I understand us being patriotic. You cannot fucking talk to me about being patriotic, about being cultural, being about your tongue, your mother tongue. I'm all about them shits, but I'm also a global person. And yes, I love hip-hop, just like I love my culture. I love my culture even more than hip-hop. Hip-hop is my culture. You get what I'm trying to say. But I do not want to feel like I need to now be a Mashatini when I could feel like I could be a Stogie. That's what I don't want people to feel like now because of what's happening with the identity of the people in hip-hop and then in the larger scale hip-hop itself.
Yeah.
So is it a case of that it's being watered down maybe? Or it's a case of that it is popular culture that we will take and learn because it is that culture that hip-hop is a very powerful culture, regardless of whatever, right? And people may say it's seasonal, and I don't believe that it is a seasonal trend, but it's that I do that hip-hop will land in Afropop. Hip-hop will land in Amapiano, for example. And it's crazy you mentioned Folka, because obviously he was the number one, right? And he put up a clip of when he was like 16 or 14 rapping, and it was just like thoroughly English, and you could hear, and when now you go play on what he's rapping on now, and the way he's finessing it, that's Tswana, and also with 1-2 English bars. For me, I was like, shit, he's actually developed in such a major way to the growth the way he is now, where he's probably saying, I know who I am. And I still think that he is still on the journey to really finding.
Maybe that word MC is the problem. Maybe they should be the hottest artist list of 2020 or the hottest artist list of the year. Maybe that word MC is a real big problem.
It is.
Because there's MC, then there's rappers. And even this would be a problem when I used to be a mediator for they wouldn't be able to differentiate, but MC, rapping. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of blurred lines. There's a lot of muddy water that happens within the show and how it's actually shot because people don't understand what they're actually trying to defend. And I think that's where the first problem comes in because it's, this is my favorite artist right now, but it's okay, I can't deny that person did that. Okay, I can't deny that this person did this. I made 0 decisions And also, another fact that people need to remember is that it's also TV. So a lot of things are blown out of proportion. Some things are edited in the way that they wanted to look spicy. So for instance, that thing of me saying, let's place Casper at number 4. There was a whole preamble conversation that happened before we got to me saying that. But again, it was edited to look like that. But I'm not gonna explain anymore because it is what it is. It's done. It's over. I personally don't care. I've been sworn at the whole weekend. My life continues. It is what it is. I don't hate anybody because if I was biased, how am I biased if I hate Casper, I hate AKA, I hate Nadia, if I'm biased, then I hate everybody. Who do I like then? If I'm biased, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the show is always controversial, and I knew that going in. Mm-hmm. I think the challenge that I gave myself is to see how I could see myself in a host chair as opposed to being on the panel, and that's why I agreed. But, I don't know, there'll be another one next year and people will shout and scream and swear again next year and we'll see how that rolls out. Shout out to everybody who's working. Would you do
the panel again next year?
No. I did say to them even this year when I was there.
Sorry, would you do the hosting of the panel?
No. Because like I said, I accepted because I wanted to challenge myself. I've done the challenge. I can move on now.
Do you think the institutions that are the MTVs, and I say that to segue into the Grammys that snubbed the weekend?
They snubbed the weekend.
Fully. So I wanted to know, do you, I think we can pry and ask the question, because we need to be honest with ourselves. Are the institutions that we give such value to, do they care for this thing as much as we do?
But you know what? For me, and I say this from a perspective of also a South African standpoint, where you look at the Summers, you look at whatever, well, the Metros aren't a thing anymore, but I think they're coming back. Even the South African Hip Hop Awards. And then you also look at something like the Grammys. These things are all managed by human beings. Human beings with emotions, with opinions, with their own personal bias, even though they try to stay objective. At the end of the day, their personal feelings will come out in a judging process. And I say that having been a judge on the South African Hip Hop Awards, where sometimes even me myself will then say, oh, but I really like that person's bars. I like those bars. Is that person the best person to win the award? We're not too sure. But if I'm judging on my opinion on that person's raps. So because of that, it will always be a flawed system.
Got you.
So I think personally that I do blame the institutions for one thing, right? Is that they probably don't choose people who are credible, right? And also at the same time, you need to choose people who, I still believe in the term gatekeepers for me for a reason, because they...
Are you a gatekeeper?
No. I don't think I am.
You're a gate opener.
I don't think I am, but I look up to people like that because for me, it's like not popping place now, where everyone can do whatever, you know? But at the same time, them with the digital age that we live in, it's opened up doors for so many artists. But I do think that with such systems, you need to have people who are credible, right? Who are not doing favors for other people, you know, and who are not buddy-buddy with other people. So it's probably kind of tough. But at the same time, who do we get? Because there's not much people that are credible. The credible people are either probably working with a team who has an artist and who probably say, but I need to let my artist win. So it's probably a new system where they probably overall have to collect so much data that it's there. You know, you cannot argue with the facts.
Numbers don't lie.
You cannot argue with the facts. That's
Numbers don't lie.
This goes back to saying when I say that these institutions haven't evolved because now it's just for ratings and numbers, just to show for you guys and to sell the show to make money, but whereby you should have been building this thing from the top of the year till now. So me as a consumer, because I've seen it so many times, I would have actually glued to that date because now I myself would have worked it out because I've been reminded of what certain people have achieved and what numbers that they have.
Gotcha.
Numbers don't lie. That's why I studied finance and not law, because
law lies a lot.
Huh?
Law is built on lies.
Too much
the L in law is for liars.
Anyway, Shimza's here. He needs to take our temperature, ne?
Yeah, he's coming to check our temperature. But again, shout outs to Shimza. Thank you for having us here. Beautiful. Please come through and check out the Hangouts.
16:30.
And they are obviously preparing for the weekend, and Tina, we're in the way, so we gotta go.
Well done on Pop Radio, guys.
Yeah, well
I see you guys, just like mixing things up,
I guess you guys tried,
You guys really trying,
Yeah, you tried.
Like, just put your best foot forward and you'll see what happens in the end. Like Jay-Z said, the genius thing we ever did was to
not quit.
Not quit.
Yo, guys, I want to remind you guys every time, right? You just need to send an email, send a video clip, send an email or text message to @amacoments@popcast.co.za. And this week's message comes from Director S3E8. He is a popcaster. He's always there in the comments, you know. And he's saying, how do you contact an A&R, you know? And I think Director S3E8, you can, more than anything, it's your music should speak for itself. And you should know who the A&R is. I think if you start in the game, you've got your LinkedIns, you've got your Instagrams, you've got your Twitter handles, all this information on social media networks are always there. So always kind of pop them through a message, you know, send music, don't ever give up, you know, send as much as you can the whole time. Because I know sometimes you get infiltrated with a lot of messages that you skip something, you know. It doesn't mean if someone does not believe in your talent that it's garbage. I don't believe in that. I think that maybe on other ears, it doesn't land the same. So just reach out, send an email and go through, knock on those doors, man. They'll open eventually. And by the way, it's not a choker, it's a mask. Stay safe.
What's up, everyone? I'm Miss Cosmo. We're here on the Social Don on the POPcast. And of course, for this week, I wanted to just give a little bit of a shout out to the ladies who are doing big things. First and foremost, I did want to give a shout out to Miss Nadia Nakai. She's got a brand new TV show on Channel O. Check it out. It's called The Naked Room. I think it dropped this past week. And it's awesome to kind of see artists who are getting themselves into different positions in the game. And she is doing a more of an interview type of show. So make sure that you support the lady on that one. All right, with that, also Elaine, shout outs to her, found herself in studio working with Grammy-nominated Kate Trinada. If you know anything about Kate Trinada, you know his beats are fire, and a lot of people really enjoy his music. And I can't wait to actually hear the collaboration because you know it's going to take it to the top.
Rightfully so, so Kuleveki, usually on third count, I'm giving you guys clothing and labels and brands coming from South Africa. But Kuleveki comes with a different twist. I am very inspired by the young black kids entering into the tech space because I believe that's the space that is really the new frontier for us South Africans and Africans as a whole. And I say that to say this. I was taken aback by this product. It's a speaker that comes with all the USB and charging ports for all the different docks that you need. It's a portable speaker you can carry to the beach or wherever you are. And it's wrapped up with our ethnic insignia, be it the fabric, yabesuthu, or blanket yabo, or the African map. And there's so many more designs coming out of this company. Their name is Imvelaphi Technology. You can find them on Instagram at Imvelaphi Tech. And there's not much to say about it. I just love the fact that they've combined the textile of Africa into something as futuristic as technology and have given you the speaker that says Africa, says Ndwangu, and says technology at the same time. Please do check them out. Imvelaphi Technology. You can check them out on Instagram at Imvelaphi Tech. And we counted threads, and we hit you up with some technology at the same damn time. Simgil.